The History of Uganda, a journey through the kingdoms and crossroads of change. Uganda's history is like its land, lush, layered, and full of hidden power. Beneath its modern cities and sweeping landscapes lies a story shaped by ancient kingdoms, colonial conquest, revolutionary fire, and resilient rebirth. To understand Uganda today, one must walk the trails of time from the early Iron Age settlers to the digital age citizens still rooted in the traditions of their ancestors. Ancient roots, before borders and colonies. The story of Uganda stretches deep into prehistoric times. Archaeological findings show evidence of human habitation in the region, dating back more than 50,000 years, particularly around the Kagera River Basin. These early settlers were mostly hunter-gatherers who gradually adopted farming and ironworking, placing Uganda at the heart of early Bantu migrations. By 1000 AD, several ethnic groups had settled throughout the region. The Bantu-speaking people, believed to have migrated from West and Central Africa, brought with them advanced agriculture, iron tools, and complex clan-based societies. These early communities laid the foundations for what would become the Grand Kingdoms of Uganda. Rise of the kingdoms, power, prestige, and prosperity. The true historical heartbeat of Uganda begins with its pre-colonial kingdoms, the most influential being Buganda, Bunyoro, Kitara, Toro, Busoga, and Ankole. These kingdoms were not just political entities, they were cultural epicenters with unique systems of governance, religion, and identity. Buganda Kingdom, the Kingdom of Buganda, situated along the northern shores of Lake Victoria, emerged as a dominant force by the 17th century. Its strategic location allowed for fertile agriculture and regional trade. Governed by the Kabaka king, Buganda had a sophisticated administrative structure with appointed chiefs, a standing army, and a complex system of land ownership. Buganda's influence expanded rapidly, absorbing smaller clans and growing rich through trade, especially in ivory and bark cloth. Even today, Buganda remains a cultural and political pillar in Uganda's national identity. Bunyoro Katara Empire. Once the most powerful empire in the region, Bunyoro Katara predates Buganda. It was founded by the Bakwesi dynasty, who are often regarded in local legend as semi-divine beings. By the 16th century, the Babato dynasty took over, and Bunyoro's influence spread across modern-day western Uganda and beyond. Though Bunyoro eventually lost dominance to Buganda, its history is remembered with pride, especially among the Banyoro people. Other kingdoms, the Ankole Kingdom, ruled by the Omugabe, was known for its sacred longhorn cattle and pastoral culture. Meanwhile, the Toro Kingdom, which broke away from Bunyoro in the 19th century, quickly grew into a cultural force of its own. The Busoga Kingdom, unlike others, was a union of several chiefdoms united loosely under a central ruler called the Kyabasinga. The colonial encounter, carving a nation from kingdoms. In the mid-19th century, Uganda's fate took a sharp turn with the arrival of European explorers, missionaries, and later colonial administrators. Figures like John Hanning Speke, who identified the source of the Nile, opened the gateway to foreign interests. Soon, British Protestant missionaries and French Catholic missionaries began competing for spiritual dominance. This religious rivalry played into the hands of the British, who saw Uganda as a strategic point for controlling the Nile and East African trade routes. By 1894, the British officially declared Uganda a protectorate, not a colony, meaning it was governed indirectly through existing local structures. The British used the Buganda Kingdom as the administrative center, signing agreements with the Kabaka and empowering Buganda over other kingdoms. While this maintained some local autonomy, it also planted seeds of inequality and regional tension that would later haunt Uganda. Colonial Uganda underwent major transformations. Railways were built, cotton was introduced as a cash crop, and Western-style education systems were established. But these developments came at a cost. Land was expropriated, traditional authority was undermined, and Ugandans were largely excluded from real political power. The road to independence, fire in the belly of a new nation. As winds of change swept across Africa in the mid-20th century, Uganda's educated elites began demanding self-rule. Political parties emerged often along ethnic and religious lines. Among the key players were Uganda National Congress, UNC, the country's first political party. Democratic Party, DP, mainly Catholic and Uganda-based. Uganda People's Congress, UPC, led by Milton Obote, advocating for a united national identity. The culture of Uganda, harmony and diversity. If Uganda's history is the trunk of its story, then culture is the crown, sprawling, vibrant, and alive. The culture of Uganda is not confined to a museum or textbook. It lives in every village dance, every wedding ceremony, and every proverb shared between generations. It is a land where over 56 tribes speak different tongues, play different rhythms, wear different colors, but all identify as Ugandan. From the royal courts of Buganda to the cattle crawls of Ankole, from the beats of traditional drums to the laughter and bustling Kampala markets, Ugandan culture is a symphony of heritage, belief, and unity and diversity. 1. Language, the tongue of identity. Language in Uganda is more than communication. It's identity. With over 40 indigenous languages, the country reflects deep linguistic diversity. These languages fall under two main groups, Bantu and Nilotic, Nilo-Hamitic, with some Sudanic speakers in the north. Luganda, spoken mainly in the central region, is the most widely spoken indigenous language and serves as a lingua franca in urban areas. Runyankole, Lusoga, Acholi, Lugbara, and Ateso are also prominent regional languages. English is the official language, a remnant of colonial rule, while Swahili is also recognized and used particularly by the military and in cross-border trade. Multilingualism is a cultural norm. Many Ugandans speak 3 or more languages, switching fluidly depending on the setting. This language fluidity reflects the nation's social adaptability and its people's openness to different worlds. 2. Music and dance, the heartbeat of the people. To feel the soul of Uganda, you need only listen. Music and dance are central to cultural expression, used in ceremonies, storytelling, healing, protest, and celebration. Each ethnic group has its own unique style. The Baganda perform the Baki Simba dance, graceful and expressive, accompanied by drums like ngoma and namunjaloba. The Akoli people showcase athleticism in the Larakaraka, a courtship dance performed with whistles and rhythmic clapping. In Busoga, the Nalafuka dance tells stories of community and livelihood. Among the Banyankole, the Ekatagariro dance is performed with proud chest movements and is often seen at weddings and royal events. Ugandan traditional instruments include ndongo, lyre, amadinda, xylophone, ingalabi, long drum, and kadongo, thumb piano. These instruments are not just tools of sound, they are carriers of ancestral memory. In recent decades, contemporary Ugandan music has blended traditional sounds with Afrobeat, dancehall, and hip-hop. Artists like Jose Chameleone, Bobi Wine, and Eddie Kenzo have taken Ugandan music to global stages, echoing ancient rhythms in modern beats. 3. Dress and ornamentation, threads of meaning. Traditional attire varies widely by region, but shares one common trait, elegance with meaning. In the central region, Baganda women wear the gomesi, a floor-length dress with a square neckline and puff sleeves worn with a sash. Men wear a kanzu, a white tunic that signifies respect and occasion. Among the Banyankole, women wear a suka, a long cloth wrapped around the body, while men also wear the kanzu, paired with a jacket for formal events. The Karamojong and Acholi communities often wear colorful beads and animal skin accessories, showcasing a warrior heritage and pastoral pride. Beyond daily wear, ornamentation such as cowrie shells, copper jewelry, and body markings once played spiritual and social roles, marking status, rites of passage, or clan identity. Though modern fashion is widespread, many Ugandans still wear traditional attire during cultural ceremonies, reminding the world that fashion here has roots, not trends. 4. Food and cuisine, a taste of the land. Ugandan cuisine is hearty, flavorful, and deeply connected to the land. Food here is not just nourishment, it is celebration, hospitality, and memory on a plate. Staples include matuki, steamed green bananas mashed and served with sauce, Posho, a maize-based porridge, dense and filling. Luombo, a traditional Baganda stew, slow-cooked in banana leaves with groundnuts, chicken, or beef. Ishabwi, a Banyankole delicacy made from sour cream and ghee. Malewa, bamboo shoots from the Bugasu region, often cooked in peanut sauce. Rolex, a modern street food icon, chapati rolled with eggs and vegetables. Meals are communal, often eaten by hand and typically shared with guests. The Ugandan table is a place of warmth and welcome, a cultural ritual in its own right. 5. Beliefs in spirituality, the seen and the unseen. While Uganda is officially a Christian-majority country, traditional beliefs and spiritual practices remain deeply woven into everyday life. Christianity, Catholic and Protestant, and Islam are the two dominant religions, brought by missionaries and traders. However, traditional African spirituality persists, often blended with mainstream faiths. Beliefs in ancestral spirits, totems, diviners, and healers are widespread, especially in rural areas. Every clan or tribe has its totem system, where each person is associated with an animal or plant. Totems carry spiritual weight. They guide behavior, determine marriage rules, and link people to the ancestors. For many Ugandans, spirituality is a spectrum. Attending church on Sunday, visiting a traditional healer on Monday, and offering respect to ancestral graves on Friday is not considered contradictory, but complete. 6. Ceremonies and rites. The circle of life in Uganda is marked by ceremonies, vibrant, symbolic events that mark transitions and reaffirm community bonds. Birth rituals vary by tribe, but often include naming ceremonies days or weeks after birth. Names are usually rich in meaning, reflecting weather, circumstance, or ancestral lineage. Initiation rites, especially among the Bagisu, e.g., the famous Imbalu circumcision ritual, are powerful public ceremonies marking the passage from boyhood to manhood. Marriage ceremonies are grand affairs, blending traditional customs with modern touches. The Kwanjula, introduction ceremony in Buganda, is especially elaborate, involving gift exchange, clan representation, and negotiation. Death and funeral rites emphasize respect for the departed, with weeks of mourning, storytelling, and celebration of life. Ancestors are honored regularly through offerings and remembrance. These ceremonies are not mere formalities. They are acts of cultural preservation, ensuring that each generation inherits not just bloodlines, but identity. 7. Proverbs, storytelling, and oral tradition. Uganda is a land of storytellers. In villages under moonlight or in schools under fluorescent bulbs, wisdom is passed down through proverbs, riddles, folktales, and songs. Examples include, a child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Even the best cooking pot will not produce food without fire. Every tribe has a treasure trove of such sayings, short poetic capsules of life lessons. These oral traditions teach morality, history, resilience, and humor. Though books and screens now dominate, oral culture remains strong, especially during communal gatherings and traditional functions. 8. Festivals and public celebrations. Cultural festivals are growing